morning folks, and welcome to another video. It's another apple tasting video. I'm here with Nigel, and we've got 12 apples here what we're going to be tasting. And have we got any more after this, Nigel?
I think there will be some late ones, but that will probably be in a few weeks' time.
Yeah. And there is a missing video as well, isn't there, which I didn't put up, so I've got to have a search for that.
Yeah, we did that one on the 28th of September, so we're hoping that'll go up fairly soon. Right, what have we got here? Well, we've actually got 13 apples today. I thought rather than wait and just do 12 and then wait till the next tasting, we'd get all the current ones done. And the first one is quite a large apple, you can see up there. This is one of our seedlings, and it really looks quite unusual. We met this in the last video that's not put up yet, but now these are really ripe. And this is a cross between Pink Pearmain, which is a red-fleshed apple, and quite a small one, and Golden Noble, which is an English cooker. And it seems to have inherited the size of the Golden Noble, and it's recently become very sweet. So I'd like you to have a taste of this one, Julie. Let's take a segment out. It's not, I don't really know whether this is a cooker or an eater. The size makes it look more like a cooker. It's very, very juicy.
It's very nice.
This has come quite good.
I think as it is, it's very good. Very tasty.
I've measured the sugar level in it, the bricks level, and it's about 12 and a half.
Can we try another piece?
Yeah.
That's how good it is, folks.
Oh, right. But it's really juicy. I tested the bricks level about 3 weeks ago when it tasted a bit more sour, and the sugar level hasn't actually changed, but it's got much juicier. And if you think about it, the sugar level, if you double the amount of water, for it to have the same sugar level, you've got to double the amount of sugar as well. So I think the amount of sugar has gone up quite a lot. And I quite like this. It's very fresh tasting. I think I'm going
to give it a 5.
A 5. Good grief. Yeah, I think that's good. I'm going to give that 4.5. I think 4.5. And I suspect it's very high in vitamin C. I think I mentioned this before, because when you cut it, I've left one of these overnight cut, and it stayed white. So I suspect it's very high in antioxidants. I'll put that back up there. So put the 4.5.
I suppose we ought to just mention, Nigel, about the scoring for those who have never watched one of our videos.
Oh, that's a good idea, yes. Do you want to do it?
No, I'll let you do it.
All right. We use a 5-point scale, and if we have something that we don't dislike it, we don't like it, it's just an apple, it's okay, that's 3. If it's in any way unpleasant, it scores less than 3. So you couldn't quite eat a whole one, 2 or 2.5. If it's actually seriously unpleasant or bitter, it's either 1 or 0. If something is above average, we give it a 4. If it's really excellent and we think it's got some potential, we give it a 5. The next one is an Italian apple sent to me by my friend Hans in Belgium, and it's called Mela Abbondanza, which I think means abundant apple, because Mela is Italian for apple, so I'm told.
Let's hope it's not anything naughty.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about this apple. We only had this one single apple on the tree this year. It's not nearly as juicy as the last one, is it? bit more.
Mm.
This is a bit different. It's slightly sharp and it's more concentrated, and to start with I thought, I don't like this, but I'm not sure. It's sweet and sharp. A little bit like a Granny Smith, do you think?
I like it.
Yeah,
I think the only thing against it personally is the skin's a bit
yeah,
tough.
the skin is a bit thick,
The
yeah.
actual part, the inside is beautiful.
It is good, yeah. Let's try a bit without the skin. I see what you mean. That's good. That's got some character as well. It's different. Well, for me, that's a 4, I think.
Yeah. I think it's the same for me.
We'll have more fruit from that next year, so we'll have a better idea when we've tried several. But as I say, that's the only fruit we've had this year. This next one is an American apple called Eden Crab. We've tried some of these before, but only from a tree in a pot, and often the apples don't grow that well in a pot. So I've no idea what this is going to be like. This was bred by Albert Etta, who I've mentioned a few times before. Oh. A strange taste.
Strange but lovely.
Yeah. Very low acid. It's a little bit pear-like.
Well, that scores a 5 from me.
Okay. Four and a half for me, I think. I don't think it's not quite perfect for my taste, but it's very, very good. What's that? 9.5. One of our old favourites next, Hidden Rose. This is American red-fleshed apple, or pink-fleshed apple. There we go, you can see it's colouring up quite nicely. This comes from California. We think this one was bred by Albert Etta, but we're not sure. Certainly from that region though. And the taste of this, it looks spectacular, but the taste of it varies with the year. And you can see there's a sort of pink colour coming through the skin here.
That has got a very unusual taste.
It has. It's another of these that if you were blindfolded, you wouldn't be sure what fruit it was.
No.
There's a sort of candy or sweet flavour with it. Difficult. I don't know what to give that. It's a little bit watery, to be honest. Did you find that, Julie?
Can we try another bit?
Yeah, yeah.
Try a bit
without the skin. Yeah, because the skin is a little bit tough this year.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. That's better.
Yeah, superb.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, folks. So, with the skin, I give it a 4, but without the skin, I give it a 5.
Okay, good.
So give it a 4.5.
Yeah, that's a compromise. Yeah. Okay, 4.5 each, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't give it a 5 if there's something wrong with it. But yeah, that's an interesting apple.
we're doing quite well today,
Yeah,
aren't
we are.
This is, I think, one of our highest
Yes.
scoring so far.
The hidden rows, it stores pretty well. And I found the later apples are not ripening as early as the, well, it sounds a silly thing to say, but the later apples are not ripening prematurely, that's what I meant to say, like the early season apples were. So the biological clock in the late apple seems to be working, or corrected itself, in spite of the weather this year. Now look at that one. That's a big cooker from Norfolk. There are, I think, 3 or 4 known trees. This is called Metton Roy. It's from the village of Metton in Norfolk. Metton. And reputation has it that this is a cooker that's not bad for eating. Well, the skin's a bit tough, isn't it? Lovely size though, that would cook nicely. What do you think to the flavour?
I think it's very nice.
Yeah, I think, you know, a cooker that's not bad for eating is not a bad description for this one.
No.
A bit more?
Yeah.
Must be good. There you go.
So,
And it has a crop every year, this tree. The blossom is spread over quite a late season and quite a long season as well. Yeah, that's good. It's at least a 4 for me, that is. It's a little bit like MM106, but it's sweeter and the texture is slightly better.
yeah, I'll give it a 4 as well.
Yeah, a nice apple. If, you know, if that was your only eating apple.
The only thing what lets it down is the skin.
Yeah, as if that was your only eating apple, you think it was okay.
Mm.
Next one is James Grieve. This is our last James Grieve of the season. This is quite a popular eating apple in Leicestershire. Oh, this isn't bad either. I think I've kept this one a little bit too long. It's a nice balance of flavours, isn't it? And the skin is not too tough on this one.
No, I'm just going to give that a 3.
3, okay. It doesn't taste as fresh as some of the others we've had. I'm going to give it, I think I'll give it a 3 as well. Next year we'll need to be a bit more on the ball with the James Grieve and taste them a bit earlier, I think.
Mm.
This one is Margill, and I looked this one up before we met this morning. It has some similarity apparently with Ribston, but it's smaller. It looks very similar to Ribston, but it's a smaller apple. Oh, it's very sweet.
It's not bad at all.
Mm. Yeah, a good.
But I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah, agreed. Not quite as good as a Ribston at its best, but pretty good eating apple. If you had a plate of those, they would all disappear. And we've got an interesting local apple here. This is from Leicestershire, and it's one of the seedlings which we've found growing wild. This was a seed planted in Wibtoft about 50 years ago, and a tree came up. We don't know what the parent was, but Alison and I have been eating some of these, and we've been quite impressed. Oh, this one's got a little bit of bitter pit. I'm sorry about that, Julie. I hope it's okay. Oh, this has gone over slightly. and this is our last one of the season, unfortunately. Nice appley taste. It's got a little bit soft. The bitter pit hasn't helped. Some of the ones I had last week I would have given a 5, but I wouldn't give that a 5.
3.
3, yeah. We'll have to try that again, but we only had a small number of apples this year. I'm going to give it a 3.5. But that's Widtoft. That's a little hamlet just outside, fairly close to Lutterworth.
Which is basically South Leicestershire.
Yeah, it's close to where to High Cross, where the A5, the Watling Street, crosses the Foss Way.
And if you're watching from outside the UK, basically it's in the very centre of the UK.
Yeah, that's right. You can go in almost any direction, and it's 100 miles till you reach the coast. This one is another of Mr. Etter's apples from California. This is called Crimson Gold. We have tried this one before, but again, not from a tree in the ground. This is the first time we've had a tree in the ground.
Okay.
I've been told by Steve in America, you might have seen some of his videos, the Skill Cult videos, that this has a good eating apple flavour, rather like Wixon. A bit more? Yeah, this seems like a good middle of the road eater to me. 4-ish, I think. Skin not too tough, a little bit soft, but perhaps I've kept it too long.
I'll give it a 3.5.
3.5, yeah. I'm going to give it a 4. Make 7.5 altogether. Another Leicestershire seedling which we've discovered growing in a hedgerow, and we've been looking at this for about 7 or 8 years. This was found growing on Bumblebee Lane, again near High Cross. Have you come across Bumblebee Lane?
Yeah, Sharnford.
Sharnford, that's right, yeah. And it's a flattened conical apple, as you can see. It's got a kind of deep pit there, where the eye is. And when I first came across this, I thought it was a Claygate Pomain, but it's got a better flavour than Claygate, and the shape's different, and it's whiter. The flesh is quite white. It's rather like the Mela Abundanza at the top. I like that. That's good. Good strong flavour.
I'm only going to give that a 3.
3 for Julie. I'm going to give mine a 4. I like a strong flavour like that. It's very concentrated and, to me, very pleasant, without being too acidic. And we've got 3 more to go. This one is Grenadine, which we've met before. This is an Etta apple from California. These are just falling off the tree. Very, very dark flavour inside. Dark colour inside. But the flavour does go up and down a lot with the weather, with the season. Sort of dry and powdery, isn't it?
Yeah, I was trying to think of that.
Yeah.
It's strange taste.
Strange texture too.
I don't think I could eat a whole one.
Oh, that means it's got to score less than 3 then. A bit more.
Yeah, I'll try. Let me just try.
It's a curiosity, definitely. but it doesn't have a fine flavour really. But it's not unduly acidic either.
It's got a nice taste. It's just that it leaves in your mouth that.
It's like bitterness.
I don't know what you'd call it. It feels as though it's like putting a coating on your mouth. If you see what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. I can feel that as well.
I think it might be the skin.
Let's try a bit without again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the skin.
Because very often some of the odd compounds you get in some of these apples dissolve in the sort of waxy layer in the skin. Is that better?
Mm.
Oh yes, it's a lot better.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That would be a very useful apple for fruit salads and similar things where you want a bit of colour.
Mm.
And it would give it a really interesting flavour.
Mm.
I think I've got to
You
give
wouldn't
that.
know it was an apple, would you?
No, you wouldn't.
Took the skin off. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't know what it was.
Mm.
It's comparing apples and oranges almost. This is, but I'm going to give that a 4.5, just because of how interesting it is.
Mm. Let's give it a 4.
Okay, you said you couldn't eat a whole one.
No, that's well. Yeah, but if you take skin off, it's nice. So
Okay, I'll give it a 4 then.
yeah, I would have given it more if it hadn't got the skin.
Yeah. Right, this is. Oh no, I'll do the weaker flavour one first. This is an apple we found, which we call Mere Pippin. We found it near Wincanton. It's the village of Mere, next to the main road. They hang very, very late usually, but this year they're ready slightly early. They're a late storing eating apple. And usually the flavour isn't bad. Very white flesh, as you can see. And we are using this for some of our crosses. It's a lovely flavour usually. Skin is a little bit tough this year.
Yeah, it's just
more.
it seems to be quite a thing this year, isn't it, with the skin?
Yeah, this one actually fell off the tree, so perhaps we've got some more to come. The flavour will be better next time. I still think it's at least a 4 at the moment. In fact, I think that's a 4.5.
I agree with you. It's only the skin what's letting it down.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Mm. Yeah, very unusual taste. Quite a few unusual ones in
Yeah.
this batch. Yeah.
Yes, it's been quite an interesting tasting, this has. The last one is Wixon. We've met this one before. Again, this was bred by Albert Etter in California. These are just about ripe now. They're very high in sugar, very juicy, but they're also sharp. And so some people don't like them much for that reason. That is really high in sugar. Well, I could eat a plate of those, definitely. For me, that's a 5. I love that.
I think it's too strong for me. I'll give it a 3.
Really? Yeah, it is a strong flavour, but
Mm.
I do actually like that very much.
Mm.
Okay. Good. Well, that's the last apple done. Let's get my notice board and clip it on there. be putting these scores on our apple tasting page. I'll give details on the YouTube where that is. For people that just want to look at the scores. They can see that,
Yeah,
can't they?
that's fine.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right, well I hope you found that interesting. We hope to do another one in perhaps a month's time with the really late apples,
Yeah.
the winter storers.
Yeah.
The mid-season ones now are all going over, so there'll just be a few to do now for the winter storers.
Before we end this video, just want to say sorry for no gardening ones really this year. Caring duties have taken control of my life, but I'm making the best of being housebound basically, and you can see I'm now printing t-shirts and mugs and coasters from my artwork and from my friends.
Yeah, that's really impressive. That's a lovely t-shirt.
Yeah. So if you want any orders, leave a private message for me, and I'll get back to you. Okay. So
Okay.
thanks a lot for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.